Okay, everyone, can you turn on your cameras? All right, I'll be taking in 3, 2, 1. Okay.
Okay. Today's sun is quite bright. So, 29th of June. 29th of June. Is that 31st? No. So tomorrow is the last day of June. 6 months has passed. We are going into the second half of the year. Second half of the year. Any questions? How about how you call that? Slido?
This is a question from Liz. Isaac.
Who?
From Liz.
Shifu, when one reads about 5 aggregates, the gratification, danger, and escape, thoughts turn negative, cynical. Is this the process of becoming dispassionate? Well, negative and cynical. Well, in a way, yes, but in a way, no. It depends on how we are being negative about it. So first of all, what are the 5 aggregates? It's the form, feelings, perception, mental formations, and consciousness. So when we say 5 aggregates, we typically refer to basically the body and mind. Yeah, the body and mind. So the gratification, danger, and escape. So this is quite a standard formula that we can find in the Pali Canon, which I have shared in many classes as well, about how not just towards the 5 aggregates, but towards whatever that we have strong attachment towards whatever we have strong craving, we should reflect on its gratification, meaning for us to be attached to something, for sure there's something that we feel is quite good, right? So instead of just trying to tell us, no, nothing good about it, go from one extreme, oh, it's so perfect, to nothing good about it. Instead of doing that, examine clearly, to see clearly exactly what is the benefit, what is the merits of this thing that we are attached to, that we have craving for. To reflect on its gratification instead. Because oftentimes our perception of the value of something tends to be warped, as though it has unlimited value to us. Otherwise, why are we so stupid? Why do we go and become attached and crave for it? So actually looking at the gratification is to really see the limit of its gratification. To realize that it can only give you that much gratification. Then the danger, in the Pali Canon, the danger is always looking at how it is impermanent, subject to change, subject to suffering. Uh, there are also other teachings that talk about the dangers, faults and dangers of, let's say, sensual desire. Yeah, how it can lead to samsaric existence, how it can lead to the indulgence in it can lead to the lower realms. Also, various ways to look at the danger. And escape here, the term escape is quite interesting because um, it begs the question, so is Buddhism a form of escapism? Yeah, escapism. You cannot face it, so you run away. In fact, in this term actually is found in many translations, the Pali Canon. And the Buddha described the escape as the noble eightfold path. But here, escape is not simply saying, I cannot deal with it, so I run away. But it's more that you have to completely see what is so good or what is so bad about it. And so you want to be free of it. Escape here means you want to be free of all the trouble that comes with it. And you don't see any more point in that pursuit. So it is not simply you cannot deal with it, then you just choose to avoid it. Yeah. Although the avoidance process is part of that whole path, but it's only at the front part. Because if you cannot deal with it, no point keep on facing it. Correct. You know you have gambling addiction. And then, and then every day you go casino. You know, you have shopping addiction. Then every day you go shopping mall. No, we must face our our problem. Shifu, you said when we have fear, we should not change what we are doing. Yeah, fear, not talking about desire. Desire must quickly pull out. Yeah, but in the long term, without um, without seeing the gratification and danger, yeah, temporary separation is only temporary. So the true escape, that means to be truly free from that kind of craving and clinging and attachment, you need to practice the Noble Eightfold Path. So the question is, when a person do that, would the thoughts become negative and cynical? So it depends on how we look at negative or cynical. Yeah. Again, many times I feel that when we look at words, whether it's English words or Chinese words, it's hard to understand or to know what the person mean sometimes, because if we take it at face value, like how we usually use the word negative, then in a way, yes, because you start to see that whatever, in this case, the 5 aggregates, is not as desirable as it is. So you start to have revulsion towards it, in a way that is being negative about it. But if negative means that you only see the negative sides of it, that means you're only seeing danger, you don't see gratification. Then that is also not correct. That is also not correct. Yeah. Cynical, I always say that I'm cynical. Don't follow me, okay? Don't be cynical. Cynical is also not quite right also. Yeah. Cynical tend to mean that you have a negative view about things, and you feel that it's a fixed direction. It will always be like that. But to my understanding and in my opinion, the teachings help us to have, it's not about having a cynical view, or in some other words, to have a pessimistic view. It's also not about having a rosy view about our existence, to have a positive view about existence. No, as I would often share, the Buddha's teaching is neither pessimistic nor optimistic. It is realistic. Yeah, it's not therefore cynical. No, it's not being cynical. But why do I say that? Yeah, in a way, it's true also. Why? Because the realistic view appears to ordinary people, to most people, as being cynical. You understand what I mean? We have this dream ideal about the world. So compared to this dream ideal, yeah, for unenlightened beings, the Buddha's realization of the truth would appear cynical. Yeah, but it is not cynical. This is just how it is. This is just how it is. There's no second way around it. Yeah. Now the question is, how do we know whether it's being cynical or going towards enlightenment, of becoming dispassionate? Yeah. I think a cynical person, question here is this person being cynical about their own existence or cynical about others? Yeah. Do you feel this way towards just others, or about this whole existence? And more importantly, because of that, because of these thoughts, do you then stop identifying with it? A cynical person would still have identification of self. Yeah. Here in Buddhism, we say, is this the process of becoming dispassionate? In Buddhism, dispassion leads to the process of non-identification, which then leads to liberation. A cynical person would still identify with things. Yeah. It's just that this is not mine. This is your idea. This is you. You know, cynical about everything. So a cynical person, you ask them whether they're cynical about themselves. Yeah. Maybe they say yes, but then after that, do they identify with it? Oh, so that's a difference. That's a difference. If these thoughts lead towards dispassion, then it should lead towards less and less identification, grasping. Then you know that you're headed in the right direction. Sakyang asked a very difficult question. What is cynical in Chinese? This maybe we have to check dictionary. Let me check my dictionary. Cynical. Cynical.
消极？
消极啊，消极 is pessimistic. Cynical laughter, 冷笑. Yeah, Jing Zhen posted something. Yeah, I got that as well. So I don't know how to explain that also. 愤世嫉俗 yeah. 愤世嫉俗 basically having contempt. Cynicism is having some level of contempt. That means you have 怎么讲啊？你对一件事情就是升起一种，就是好像有点瞧不起的意味呀。你认为就是一文不值这样子呀。What if 小芳 asks, what if the cynicism is towards self and others? Can it become nihilistic? Nihilism has a very interesting feature, which is that I'm not sure whether it is actually directly what you are trying to express, but nihilism would refer to the view that basically after dying, there's nothing left. Or that there's nothing left after that. A person can be nihilistic and as a result cynical, but a person who is cynical may not be nihilistic also. Yeah. So a person may be very cynical about this world, but he believes that after death he will go to heaven. Yeah. So he can be cynical about the world, but believe that he will have a better life in the future, maybe in heaven or in some future life. Yeah. So cynicism doesn't necessarily become nihilistic. 哦，例会 ask or say 对这个对某人的不信任感 ，yeah, also a bit of a contemptuous kind of feelings, yeah. Cynicism, yeah, become cynical.
师傅
Uh-huh.
is it like those 武侠小说 where the 笑傲江湖这样they sort of like 看透了人间的那些就是他们有一些本领跟武功，所以他们觉得世俗的一切是不是他们所追求的，是不是这样子？
someone who has, so if we just look at the context that you shared, right, in some of those martial art movie or TV series where the person reach a very high state and then he look at the rest of the world like you're not amounting to anything. Is that being cynical?
From the Chinese interpretation just now, it says 愤世嫉俗.
Yeah. Yeah. So. So I don't know whether it's lost in translation or whether 愤世嫉俗 itself has that same connotation as those 武林高手 in 笑傲江湖. Yeah. Maybe some of them, yeah, especially in some of these 武林 movies, where they are very they are actually top, they are very high level, but they 退出江湖, you know, because they are quite sick and tired of all this, like, yeah, 你争我夺的这个, and they feel that 哎呀，这个世间没有什么好东西. Yeah. So then there will always be the main character, right, who is like a blur king, then go somewhere, then accidentally encounter this grandmaster, and then share with him his ideal, and then the master will like, look at him and laugh like, 哎呀，你就是乳臭未干的 yeah, you are still young, so you don't know what the peril of this world, blah blah blah. But I don't know. I don't know whether it's the same. Yeah, because there are, especially in the novel like Xiao Jianghu, there are actually many layers to it. Yeah. What do y'all think? Is of this term negative and cynical? I don't know. Like the other day, there was this question about what to do when feeling overwhelmed, right? I find myself these days, I don't know whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. In the past, when I hear a question, I'm quite ready to just jump in and just. But these days, I hesitate to assume what the speaker or what the person is trying to ask. Yeah. Because overwhelm can mean many things, Yeah. And depending on the context, So similarly, as I said, if we take it just at face value, the way I understand it, then it will still depend on whether the person moved towards non-identification. Yeah, because in Buddhism, that three-part process, gratification, danger, and escape, should lead towards seeing that this is not worthy of our time. That these 5 aggregates is not as desirable, not as pleasant, not as worthy to be considered for us to say, oh, this is me, not worth our time doing that. Whether cynicism leads to this, I don't know. Because I'm pretty sure there are a lot of cynical people in this world, but are not enlightened. Oh. So Meiyan says, 与世间隔绝. Yeah. 脱离现实生活，不和人们往来。Yeah. So yeah. So such a person who choose to separate themselves from others, yeah, become a hermit, so to speak, may not necessarily be enlightened also, or moving towards enlightenment. Yeah, may very well, precisely in both cases, whether being cynical or someone who isolate themselves from others, may precisely do this because of a bigger and bigger ego. That's why I feel cynical about this world, because 你们不如我. Yeah, maybe that's what Saikai is trying to express in terms of the Xiao Jianghu. Yeah. 脱离现实生活，不和人们往来. So it is true that in the monastic life, there's a certain element of this. Yeah. In particular, the second part. 不和人们往来. There's a certain element of this. But that means not to associate with others. But who is the others here? It is in particular the lay community. Yeah. But the Buddha don't encourage the monks and nuns to live in isolation also. He don't encourage that also. Yeah. Like of course nowadays it's very common to hear of this tradition, that tradition having that kind of isolation retreat. But actually, if you look at the Pali Canon, I'm not talking about Mahana Sutra. If you look at the Pali Canon, I don't see any evidence of the Buddha encouraging people to do isolation retreat up to like several years. No, because for one, they are not allowed to produce their own food. So if you live in isolation, how are you supposed to to live? Yeah. And in various sutra, the Buddha admonished or basically highlight to individual monks about how they should not be going about their day-to-day just by themselves. Here, 不和人们往来 is true to a certain extent with regards to lay people, yeah, but not with fellow cultivators. Shu may raise her hand.
Okay, I just want, 2 days ago, I came across in another Dharma talk something similar. So maybe all this cynicism and negativity in the positive sense is possibly originated from this Pali word called nibbida. And I understand it to mean disenchantment and weariness. So when I Googled the Wikipedia, it says the skillful turning away of the mind from the combined samsaric world towards the unconditioned, the transcendent. Yeah, so maybe that's similar.
Yeah, so the reason why I kind of agree with that, yeah, that it could be similar. But I hesitate to simply say that it's the same. Yeah, and the reason is because, like, I don't know whether Lee's understanding is the same. Yeah, that's why I go through so many layers of explanation, because in case if Lee's do watch the video, then at least it can give her more context. Yeah, and not simply, and even others who watch this, they don't simply conclude that being cynical is the correct direction.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And on that note, it also points to us a certain direction or like a track, whether when we practice the Dharma, do we practice and then as a result start to see things in more of its totality, yeah, and then turning towards that means in Chinese we say 思维这个生死的过患，涅槃的功德。Yeah, so to contemplate on the faults and danger of samsaric existence, actually, 生死的过患, yeah, and then the merits of nibbana, yeah, 涅槃的功德. So when you do this, then there's a potential difference, and then you gravitate towards nirvana. But having said that, I also want to highlight that the Buddha didn't introduce this supramundane path to everybody he meet. Yeah, because there are those who are simply not ready. Now, there are those who like, for example, all of you here, are you all ready for nirvana next Wednesday, which is tomorrow? Yeah. As much as we meditate every day, not all of us are 100% ready. So my point is that, so even if you learn the Dharma practice and you don't find yourself actively turning towards that direction, don't beat yourself over it or feel like, maybe Dharma is not for me. You know, because at different stages, our mind incline differently. Yeah, but of course, the ultimate, we have to gradually at least understand, and it is that the samsara existence, yeah, even if you look at the teachings, the Buddha also talk about if you practice in this way or that way, you can have a happy rebirth. But no matter how happy your rebirth is, it's incomplete. It's not fully satisfying. Yeah. But if you're not ready, then at least make sure you don't get into the low realms. So Are you all becoming more cynical? 愿消三障诸烦恼，
愿消三障诸烦恼，
愿得智慧真明了，
愿得智慧真明了，
不愿罪障悉消除，
不愿罪障悉消除，
世世常行菩萨道。
世世常行菩萨道。
阿弥陀佛。
阿弥陀佛。
起立。
Brothers and sisters, let's pay respect and thank Shifu with 3 prostration. First prostration. Second prostration. Third prostration.
Till we meet again, may be guided and protected by the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. As always,
乖乖。
have a, oh, I was going to say have a cynical day ahead. Why not? Have a happy cynical day ahead. By night time, all of you go crazy.
Okay, Shifu.
Bye.
Bye. Take care. Stay safe.
Thank you, Sifu. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you, Sifu. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.